There's this certain electricity that surrounds Elon Musk's companies. It's this feeling of intense, almost frantic progress. But what is that really? In this explainer, we're going to deconstruct the unique, high-intensity culture that seems to be the operating system for innovation at places like XAI, Tesla, and SpaceX. It all kind of kicked off with this one simple post that just blew up. An ex-employee said the energy at XAI headquarters was absolutely unmatched. Insiders, and even Musk himself, jumped in to agree. But come on, energy is a pretty vague word. What does it actually feel like for the people on the ground? And that's really the big question here. What is this energy? Is it something totally new at XAI, or is it a pattern? Like a kind of cultural software that runs across all of Musk's ventures. To figure that out, we really have to look at the source code of this whole operating system. Okay, so the first pillar of this Musk OS is the mission itself. See, these companies don't just have goals. They have these massive civilization-level ambitions that act like a gravity well, just pulling in the most elite, mission-driven people who want to work on something truly historic. Just take XAI. Their mission isn't just about building a better chatbot. Nope. It's to understand the true nature of the universe. That's not a small incremental goal. It's basically a declaration of war on doing things the easy way. And it's designed to attract a very specific kind of person. And you see the exact same pattern over at SpaceX. Their mission? To make humanity a multi-planetary species. Again, it's not just about building better rockets. It's about fundamentally changing the future of our existence. This pattern of setting impossibly ambitious goals is absolutely central to the whole culture. And then, of course, there's Tesla, aiming to accelerate the entire world's transition to sustainable energy. So when you put all three of these together, you start to see that these aren't just companies in the traditional sense. They're crusades. And that kind of mission is the first key to unlocking that unmatched energy. But look, a big mission doesn't mean anything if you can't execute on it. And that brings us to the second pillar, this core belief that speed itself is the ultimate competitive advantage. It's not just a metric they track, it's the entire strategy. Just look at this timeline for XAI's new data center. They got 100,000 of the world's most advanced GPUs up and running in just 122 days. The CEO of NVIDIA himself apparently called it superhuman. This isn't just moving fast, it's moving at a pace that literally redefines what we thought was possible for building this kind of infrastructure. And this obsession with tempo, it goes from the digital world straight to the physical one. Over at Tesla's Gigafactory in Shanghai, a brand new car rolls off the assembly line roughly every 10 seconds. That is what relentless velocity looks like when you turn it into steel and silicon. Musk actually explained this philosophy himself with an analogy to the SR-71 Blackbird's spy plane. It was never shot down because its only real defense was to be faster than anything that could possibly catch it. In this operating system, speed isn't just about efficiency. It's a defensive moat. It's their armor. So you have this huge mission and a strategy of pure speed. That's powerful for sure. But how do you actually get an entire organization to move like that? Well, that leads to our third pillar, a cultural software that insiders just call the founder mode mindset. Founder mode is basically a culture built to eliminate friction. It means everyone is expected to take radical ownership of their work. There's almost no bureaucracy, a near zero tolerance for office politics, and an unapologetic expectation of intense, all-in commitment. And the culture at XAI really comes into sharp focus when you put it side by side with a rival like OpenAI. Where OpenAI has a kind of structured intensity, XAI has blistering Formula One car speed. Where OpenAI has process built for scale, XAI has near zero bureaucracy. It's a really fundamental difference in philosophy, raw, unpolished execution versus a more composed, institution-ready polish. And this quote from a former employee just makes that feeling so tangible. They said the cultural shift was like going from driving a golf cart to an F1 car. That really captures the exhilarating and maybe a little terrifying acceleration that defines the day-to-day experience there. A huge mission, blistering speed, a founder-led mindset. It's a powerful mix, no doubt, but it absolutely comes at a cost. And our fourth pillar has to acknowledge the undeniable human trade-offs of this culture. Let's call it the price of admission. First, let's look at the incredible upside, because it's real. Employees consistently say that they feel like they are part of something genuinely historic. The work has an enormous impact, the atmosphere is electric, and that sense of accomplishment is just profound. But the flip side is pretty stark. As this one summary from Reddit puts it, the intensity is so high that management burns up fast. The exact same pressure that forges all these breakthroughs also leads to chronic exhaustion and, frankly, burnout. You can actually see this trade-off right in the data. If you look at aggregated employee reviews from places like SpaceX and Tesla, career growth scores are consistently high. We're talking around a 4 out of 5. But work-life balance? Consistently low, hovering around 2.4. The deal couldn't be clearer. You trade your personal balance for professional impact. So, we've broken down the core components of this pretty unique operating system. And it raises a much bigger question. Is this actually a sustainable and replicable blueprint for building the future? So just to recap, this Musk OS is really built on 4 pillars. Number 1, a mission so huge it acts like a gravity well for talent. 2, a tempo where speed is the only real strategy. 3, a founder's mindset that is just allergic to bureaucracy. And 4, an explicit trade-off where you exchange work-life balance for a shot at making history. Which leaves us with this final question to think about. Is this kind of intense, all-consuming culture the necessary cost of building truly frontier technology? Or is it an unsustainable model, a system that runs so hot it's constantly on the verge of burning out its most valuable component, its people? The answer to that question could very well define the next era of innovation.